So there's a couple things I don't like. One, I don't like when people can't handle getting their balls busted, because life is way too annoying, heavy, aggravating to not be a little light and have a little fun with people. The other thing, and this is actually the real big thing, I don't like being lied to, and I think that's something everybody can say across the board. So if you want to know what's kind of eating at me with being lied to, stay tuned. mikeybalzz Fishing. Welcome to the Bass Cave.
Nice. I love that gut.
As you guys can see, we are all moved into Alabama. I'm actually coming to you from what I'm going to call the Bass Cave. This is where all the magic happens. I got my whole computer set up, which we talked about in the office walkthrough, multiple screens, desk I found on the side of the road and repainted. We got everything right here we need to do awesome bass fishing videos. The only thing that's outside is the boat and some fishing rods, but we're going to be doing some kind of walkthroughs and some tips and techniques. And I'm sure you're wondering about what I'm so aggravated about. We'll get to that. But let me show you something really quick. So I told you we're going to have merch, right? And this is a huge thanks to Bass Attitude Fishing. Check these out. Balls, floral hats. mikeybalzz, floral hats with black. And check these out. These are bad to the bone. I don't think I can say what they actually are. Dude, performance shirts. And like another one. How about that? I am not cool. But dude, I'll tell you what, I think these are pretty freaking cool. So if you're interested in grabbing one, there's a link in the description box. Bass Attitude Fishing. Dude, Chris over there helped me get this thing off the ground. Support it, grow it. I'm gonna be giving some stuff away, but you gotta buy this stuff because the money that I pull off of this stuff literally goes into the gas tank of the boat, goes into buying fishing lures from Tackle Warehouse to show you how to use them, for me to learn how to use them, and to shoot content, shoot video, to bring you guys real fishing unhinged. So I'm sure you're wondering, what am I frustrated, annoyed, and not too happy about? And why did I mention lying in the beginning? Well, first of all, shout out to Jay Kumar and Bassmaster. It's an email subscription that you can get. It has some insights and has some kind of creative, sort of interesting outlooks, perspectives on bass fishing. We all love to fish, and sometimes we kind of get a little too stuck in traditional medias, whether it's, you know, tournament media, whether it's just, you know, your general websites and that. Bassmaster and Jay Kumar, they're a little sort of outside the ring, and they bring you some interesting takes, and they'll find stuff that really doesn't always pop up on your standard feeds on Facebook and things along those lines. So something he reported on, which I think is kind of interesting, is a new FLW rule that requires anglers to have cameras in the boat on, running all the time. Huh, what does that sound like? Real fishing? I think so. So you're probably asking yourself, why does this annoy me? Well, you know, it's a good move by FLW, and it's something that should have happened a long time ago. You guys all know how long we've been shooting video. I've been shooting it since 2009. There's guys like John B shooting it since 2009. Like, a lot of like us YouTubers have been doing this for years, and it's all about giving you raw, uncut info. And the whole appeal of it is that you guys are sick of being lied to. You're sick of being told, oh, I caught it on this, or I was doing this, when that's not true whatsoever. So I guess I'm annoyed because the technology has always been there to do this, and the demand has been obvious. The demand has been obvious since 2010. Guys are sick of being pushed around, pulled around. We all want to learn, and we rely on some of these resources like Bassmaster, FLW, to like show us like real, raw tournament content. Not to kind of like massage things and do that. We want to know what happened when they were out fishing. So that's what annoys me. But let me tell you where it comes from. The whole reason I started shooting these videos is because when I was younger, my old man didn't fish at all, so I never kind of like learned how to fish from him. I had a best friend who was awesome at fishing and deer hunting, taught me a lot. But I'd try to fish up in Wisconsin and like ask some of these older guys, like, hey, what are you doing? How do you catch fish? And this was, I think, like the early 90s or so, mid 90s. And dude, I would get the cold shoulder. And I know fishing's kind of a secretive sport and that, but at the same time, I was a kid looking for help, wanting to learn, and not looking for spots, not looking for anything like big and mind-blowing. I just wanted to get started, and I wanted to know where to start, and these guys would give me the cold shoulder. And for that reason, everything I did from that point on was all about learning. I would look online. I would read newspapers. I would read like news articles in Bassmaster magazine. In Fisherman, you know, you remember that? Yeah, read In Fisherman. I'd watch the videos. I bought the bass. I think I got them in there, like the In Fisherman bass and smallmouth books. Bought everything and just freaking ate it up. And that's when like YouTube showed up. And actually, before that was Google Video. I'm like, you know what, dude? I've learned a lot in this past section of time. I have the opportunity to learn more from myself, as well as share my experiences and maybe link up with some people who also are kind of in the process of learning and capturing their experience and learn even more. And that's why I started shooting videos, because in the end, I hate writing stuff down. So writing like a fishing log drove me nuts. I used to do it. It was horrible, horrible. Like, pull your hair out. So I started playing with cameras, and the beauty of video is it captures so much information without like having to do anything. Like literally you run the camera and you see where you're at, what kind of cover you're fishing, what you're fishing, how you're fishing it, what you're doing with your rod, what you're doing with your reel, what bait you're using. It's all there, and it's raw and uncut. It's so much. They always say a picture is 1,000 words. Well, if a picture is 1,000 words, video is like 1,000 to the exponentially 10th power or something of information, all packed in, all fishing. Now you guys know I have certain baits that I like to use. I love throwing my gambler stuff. I love my bull shads. You know, there's, oh dude, 10XD, I mean, come on. It's like a standard. But the reality is there's a lot of different baits that work. So the thing that kind of annoys me is, you know, we've been going through these years and years of tournament fishing, and like these guys will catch them on one thing, and if it doesn't fit into their template of sponsors or whatever, they'll say they caught them on something else. And that information chain is broken, and we don't get honesty. It's definitely improved up till now, but I'm telling you, this new rule change is going to give you the rawest, most #real fishing experience that you can from tournament angling, because that's what we've been looking for. The demand has always been there, and I think some of these tournament organizations are starting to recognize that. We don't want to be lied to. I don't know about you, but like literally that drives me nuts. You can fudge and you can kind of bend the truth a little bit. I think everybody does that because we all have our own perspectives on fishing, on life, on whatever. So we see things in a certain way, but that's not really lying, you know? Like lying is like saying, hey, I caught him on this worm when you actually caught him on that worm. And that's not cool. So I'm really excited about this rule because, as usual, it's technology stepping in and fixing something that it seems like demand and just people wanting something different hasn't been able to fix. Because what we're going to see is we're going to see raw, uncut fishing. We're going to see real fishing on the water, real tournament situations, and lots of them. There's going to be so much information. There's going to be one angler doing one thing, another angler doing, and you're going to see what they're doing. You're going to see what bait they're actually throwing. I mean, they might throw it off the boat. Have you ever seen it in those videos? Like when you see FLW with the cams up there, or Bassmaster, and they like take the hook out of the fish and they quick throw the bait out. I love it. That's pretty sneaky. I love that. And if you didn't know that, that's why they're doing it, because they're fishing something they probably shouldn't be fishing. It's such a trip. But it's all this, you know, like this crazy hiding stuff. And you gotta hide stuff. You know, these guys are fishing for money. I understand that you might need to delay or put things off. I've done that with videos too, because in the end, like, I want to have some fun, go catch some of the stuff, like kind of catch some of the fish that I've found in certain weird areas and stuff like that. But I'll put this stuff up, raw, uncut, real fishing. And I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a lot more volume of content and a lot more information that's going to flow to us, the people looking to learn. And especially, dude, I'm not big into the whole like kid fishing stuff, but you know what? Like when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was learn. I wanted information, and this is going to provide so much more information for those up and comers and those young anglers who are looking to learn, looking to get out there and develop their fishing skills. But yeah, that's my take from the Bat Cave. Once again, credit to Jay Kumar, Bassmaster. Subscribe to it, dude. You see all kinds of awesome bait updates, tournament updates, insight. He has a great network of people that he's connected with to get you an inside scoop. Uh-oh. Dog is trying to kill somebody. You see my hat rack back there? Pretty cool. But he'll get you inside scoop. But I think it's really a positive move for the industry and a positive move for where we're going. We've been doing this for years, anglers like us, shooting video, you know, being raw, creating real fishing content, and giving it to you uncut and honest, because honesty is the best policy. So I bet you thought we were done. Dude, this is a bass cave. We are never done. So I want to show you something. I'm going to get into, as recommended by some local anglers, some killer swim bait fishing on Gunnersville, Chickamauga, Smith Lake, Pickwick, all of these, because these fish are so keyed in on shad. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I like throwing my bull shad, and I know how to kind of fish that, but I've been told that I really need to open my mind to some bigger, crazy glide baits and just hard swim baits, like crazy big, all kinds of stuff. So a buddy reached out to me on Facebook, and he's like, bro, I make swim baits. Like, do you want a glide bait? And I'm like, yeah, you know, man, I don't like taking things from somebody. I don't like freebies and that. But if you really want to make me one, because he hand carves them, Mike Herman, shout out to him. He's like, I'll make you one. And he sent it to me. You want to see it? I know you do. It's freaking cool. Check out my new glide bait. Dude, this thing is custom. Literally, there's no other one like it. He hand carved this thing. It's so sick. I would estimate it at about 8, maybe 9 inches, probably about 8 inches or so. Weight wise, probably like 2 ounces. It's pretty hefty. It has 2 hook connectors right there. Has a plastic tail. You can see totally hand carved. And I had him, a lot of the shad, and one of the best colors that I've found when you're dealing with shad, and as long as the water's kind of green and clear, green back and then silver. And it works on my deep water lakes down in Florida, and I guess it's kind of something that works up here too, because the shad, the water's kind of green, like it has a slight tint to it, and it tends to make those shad a little just darker green on the back, because usually like bait fish, they'll match the watercolor that they're in. So I had him do kind of like a green reflective pattern on it. It's got a little bit of purple, a little bit of gold to kind of break it up. You always want breakup patterns. We talked about it on the spoon, that shattered glass pattern. You want that pattern broken up. You just don't want solid colors. It's got the white belly, and I am stoked to throw this thing. How I'm going to throw it, what am I going to do with it? Well, it should run anywhere from 2 to say like 7 feet, depending on how slow you fish it. So it's a slow sink, but what you're going to do is I'm going to put it on 20 to 25 pound fluorocarbon, and I'm going to launch this thing out there on my 795 Dobbins Fury, and I'm going to slow reel it. I got a 621 reel on there, so it allows me to kind of like slow down a little, because I have trouble slowing down, so I use that slower reel, and then I can actually achieve slowing down. But basically what this thing is going to do is it's going to dart back and forth, and you want to use kind of a tweaked retrieve. You want to kind of reel consistent, but you want to put a little bit of a clip in there, because what it actually does is it creates a better dart for that kind of glide bait, because basically these things just walk back and forth without you actually having to walk them. It almost does the spook without spooking. So I'm super stoked, because what ends up happening during the winter is these shad grow and grow and grow, and they get bigger and bigger, and by the time we actually get to like deep winter and spring, the shad are pretty big. So you're going to be throwing big baits. The other thing too is I talked to my buddy Caleb. You guys know him from Bass Quest. We went up and we fished with Benjamin Nowak. Subscribe to both of them, dude. Killer fishermen, awesome dudes. But he lives on Lake Chickamauga, and he was telling me that, you know, these bigger baits, you get intimidated more than the bass do, because the bass, even like 11, 12, 13 inches, will eat these, or they will follow it. So you can use it in 2 different ways as a search bait. One, you can cast it out and catch a fish. I mean, that's kind of obvious. Like, woo, you know, I'm reeling, catch a fish. The other way is, he's like, dude, our water isn't super clear, but usually you can see fish. You got visibility down to like 2 to 3 feet, maybe 4 feet sometimes, and you'll actually see fish follow these baits up, especially as we get more into winter. As long as there isn't too much rain, that water clears up, and you'll see the fish follow. And by seeing that fish follow, it's almost as good as getting a bite, because you know, hey, there's fish in this area. They're looking at bigger baits, or they're looking at like shad style forage baits, and you can catch them on this or catch them another way. But like I said, shout out to Mike Herman. He put this thing together for me. Custom glide bait, 100% handmade. Can you believe that? I can't wait to throw this thing, dude. It's gonna come out. Like, this is so badass. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video from the Bass Cave. This is not the only one you're gonna see. You're gonna see a lot of videos from here, including the hat rack. It's gonna be the place where we talk about tips, techniques, fun stuff, things I'm interested in, any kind of tweaker stuff. But we are situated in Alabama. Make sure you like and subscribe this video if you enjoyed it. I got a feeling we're not going to be lied to nearly as much as we used to be with this new rule with FLW, which I think is cool. I give them props for implementing it. It's about time that these guys kind of like show what they're doing. They're professionals. They need to be open and share what they're doing. I mean, that's the way a lot of these sports work. You see their process, you see what happens, and I think that's a positive thing and a positive move. But as usual, we're going to bring you real fishing, because that's what we do. But I think that's about a wrap. I'm gonna see what this glide bait can do, and make sure you tune in next time for more Mikey Balls fishing. We are out for now. Keep the lines tight, and thank you guys for supporting the channel. Peace.
Nice. Love that gut.